Hi, welcome back. This is week 40, 2 weeks from the last video. I want to talk about our progress of Easy Proposal, what we're working on, and maybe how cold it is right now in Vancouver. So let's get inside and go on with the video.
Streets across many parts of Metro Vancouver turned into a sheet of ice. This is a portion of Nelson Street in Burnaby, which now resembles a scrapyard.
It's cold. Hi, welcome back. My name is Hiroki Kuro. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've done 2 startups in Japan, Lokondo and also Marybiz, which I'm still a director. I'm working on Easy Proposal, which is a 4-person company, and we are helping companies find government opportunities and help them prepare proposals for that opportunity. If you are a startup founder or if you're planning to start one yourself, please subscribe to our channel. We provide these bi-weekly now updates of what's going on with our startup. Hopefully we can learn together through these videos. So as I mentioned in the previous video, link up here, we talked to somebody who works in a water treatment company, and they had a problem of getting the quotes ready. So they need to get the numbers right to send it, to fit it into the proposal, but that was complicated. There's a lot of room of errors. They did it on spreadsheets, not the best way to go about that. So they wanted to have some sort of software, a better way to go about that. So that was the discussion. It was interesting to dive into more details of preparing proposals. We thought it would be just difficult, but if we break it down, it might be that we would be able to tackle some areas within the whole complicated process. So we started looking into that. This week we were talking about what softwares are out there that people use. Nowadays there are a lot of no-code softwares, so you can create applications, software without any coding. So there's some visual programming softwares, and there's also some that have templates that you can use to create your own. Some of those softwares will be Airtable, Smartsheets. Those, even if you're not a programmer, you can create apps, you can create systems for your operation. Although these would need some learning to be able to fully use it, it's just much easier compared to learning programming, coding yourself, or to hire somebody and manage the whole project so that you can get a certain outcome. For larger companies that have more than a couple hundred employees, they have ERPs, they have already built systems to pretty much automate or run the process. But for small and medium companies, they don't have that. They would try to find SaaS, other softwares off the shelf, see if they work. It takes a lot of time to actually do this. We're discussing like who is the decision maker, who actually does that, and we're saying that they would be interns, people who are more adept to IT tools, who are interested personally in these softwares, that they will dive into it anyway, and they will start using them, and then they will propose to the company saying, hey, I found this cool tool that probably will help everybody to be more effective, to work more effective. And then the company starts using it, and eventually they start paying for it, and the whole organization starts using it. Typical user journey for software, SaaS, to be used in a small and medium-sized company. But there are a lot of companies or industries that have these unique processes that all these softwares don't really match. For example, even in accounting, there are industries, for example, construction. In construction, you need to have each project its own P&L. So let's say you're building a business building in center of Vancouver. You work with other construction companies, you hire a bunch of freelancers, you need to get the equipment, get the material to build this building. That itself is the project. You have to have profit and loss managed. So the requirements for accounting software for construction companies, for the construction industry, is very different from general companies. If you are in a certain industry or you do a certain business, sometimes you can't find the optimal software tailored for your operation. And if that's the case, well, you gotta build it yourself. A lot of people get stuck with spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are very flexible. You can start using them. It's a good way to start. But once your operation starts growing, spreadsheets get very messy because of the flexibility. What you enter might differ from person to person. They can't enforce the rule onto the spreadsheet. You have the flexibility of editing, deleting, all that. So you don't know what's going on. You're not really sure if the data presented in front of you is accurate or not. You don't know who's changed it, who's updated it, or it's difficult to keep track of that, at least. In Japan, there's this software called Kintoum, which is a smaller version, sort of Salesforce. It itself has its CRM, like database function, but you can create so much around it. It has a unique way of setting up databases, which I'm not completely a fan of, but it gets the job done. Interesting fact about this software, Kintoum, is that it has built a lot of community around it. The company that creates this Kintoum software is called Sybos, but Sybos encourages a lot of developers and developing companies to do workshops and gives incentives to do workshops, work with the clients to have everybody more familiar with how to use it. So there are workshops all over Japan around how to use Kintoum or how to get started, etc. This is great, and I think it was once a year they have this big conference where everybody comes to Tokyo and the developing companies showcase what they've built. The users can also showcase what they've built or how they use Kintoum. There's a huge community and everybody can share what they've done. People can learn off of everybody. It's excellent. In other parts of the world, each SaaS has or is trying to build a community. You have users talk about how they use the software, how they want it to change, or any other additional functions they want the software company to work about. So there'll be requirements, bug reports, all that in the community. And then usually these softwares would have APIs where developers work on that. How many small, medium companies have the resource to actually fully understand that and utilize that for their business? And I believe that the numbers are very small. So we want to talk more to small, medium companies. Related to the government opportunity RFPs, a lot of government RFPs for the larger projects, it pretty much seems to be a fixed game. There's a handful of companies, large companies, that are equipped to apply for the project, the RFP, so it's fixed. It's only for those medium, small projects that all these small and medium companies can apply. So in either direction, we believe that we need to understand more about how small and medium companies operate, what their incentives are, what their constraints are, what their pain is. Now, talking about the size of the company, I want to also talk about management. So Easy Proposals is only a 4-person company or organization at the moment, but once business starts rolling, you start hiring more people, you eventually become just a 1-person company, 1-person business to 4, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 and beyond. So as a manager, like what happens? What do you need to understand? In the early stage of running your business, pretty much, although you're the manager, you need to do everything yourself. If there's a customer complaining, you have to deal with that. If you have to pay, you might be rushing to the bank to actually make that payment. Only a handful of people, so you need to do whatever is necessary. All hands on deck. But once the business starts growing, you want to start replicating yourself. Let's say you do a bit of accounting, you do a bit of sales, you do a bit of marketing. You can't do that continuously anymore. The business has grown. Marketing is a full-time job. accounting full-time, sales full-time. So you need to find somebody who can do that full-time and replicate your process. You have that pretty much all in your head, but you want to pass that on to the next person. And then when you do that, you want to understand, how can I monitor this person so that you can manage the process? If you just delegate it and not keep an eye on it, you're not sure if the person is doing a good job or not. If everybody's doing a good job, then company and business will grow. But if everybody's not doing a good job, well, the company's business is going to stagnate. You need to understand what you should be focusing on, what you should be monitoring. People call these KPIs, key performance indicators. Let's say for salespeople, how many client meetings have you had for this week? You might measure that. You might measure the estimated budget of that week. Depending on the process, depending on what you want to achieve in your business, and depending on that person's role, you want to set something so you can monitor that. It's monitoring, management, also education. You want to teach the person so that that person can do the best job within his or her ability. So you want to teach, and you also want to inspire, get them motivated. Even if the person has the skills and experience, if you don't get them motivated, it's very hard for them to reach their potential. So one person, all hands on deck to becoming more of a manager and to delegate. That's the second step. Now, once you have that, your company continues to grow, fortunately, then you start having middle managers. Middle managers, again, you'll be delegating your management role to these middle managers. They will understand what the KPIs are. They will start understanding how to teach, educate the newbies entering the company, also how to motivate them. So they will replicate your management system and run with that. Once you're free of that, what are you supposed to do? Now your job is, you've pretty much created this system. With the combination of the IT system and the organization system, the business is running. You don't need to exist within the system anymore. You can separate yourself. But if you just go out to the beaches and not do anything, the system will continue to run, but it will eventually hit certain walls. Your job at that point is to foresee what is going to happen to the business 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. The industry is going to change. Maybe the regulation is going to change. Maybe there will be new competitors. Maybe new technology will be added into the industry. You need to foresee that and make necessary plans to adapt to that change. Also, because the organization is growing, you might want to change the process itself. You will find bottlenecks in your organization, your system. You want to eliminate that. Where is the bottleneck? Why is that happening? What do you need to do? There's an interesting interview with Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. And when he was asked about what is expected for the next quarter.
Good quarter, I say thank you. But what I'm thinking to myself is that quarter, those quarterly results were actually pretty much fully baked about 3 years ago. And so like today, I'm working on, a quarter that is going to happen in 2020, not next quarter. Next quarter, for all practical purposes, is done already.
He answered that was pretty much already decided 3 years ago. So as a CEO, he has planned already 3 years ahead what 3 years from now will look like. And he has passed the plans, brought in the resource, and asked the organization to do that, to execute. If the execution is done properly, what he had envisioned 3 years ago becomes a reality now. So as you grow, you as a manager need to change your role. And sometimes it's very difficult. As a founder of a startup, sometimes you get excited and enjoy that you're doing everything. You're doing accounting, sales, marketing. That's fun. You get your hands dirty in a sense. You get to talk to the customers often. You can pretty much do whatever you want. But once you have a certain number of people and the organization is growing, you no longer can do that. If you insist to do that, you should not be a manager. You should step down. You could be middle manager, or you can be employee number one, but you're probably not suited to become a manager. So what is required as a manager will change. You need to educate yourself and adapt to that situation to continue to be an effective manager. And if not, that's not the end of the world. You can still, as a founder, still be a shareholder and then be employee number 1 or 2. That's fine. It's up to you. So thank you for watching this video to the very end. We'll continue our journey of understanding what small and medium companies are looking for, what kind of pain they have, and figure out a solution that they will need, that small and medium companies would need. Also, I continue to provide information around what you need to understand as a startup founder to go forward. If you're interested in this sort of contents, please subscribe, give a like, share this video so that this information can be shared to the startup community. Thank you for your support always, and I will see you 2 weeks from now. Bye.